So, by damn it, you're not going to listen to them in the way you would listen to me. Do you see? You're not going to listen. As you hear him, you will hear me. And we could reverse it. As you hear me, you will hear him. As you hear me, you will hear him. It's all a matter of the permission you give in your own mind. Listening to truth is the only way you can hear it now and finally know it. Listening to truth, it says, remember? It doesn't say listening to your brother's present limited perception of himself or herself. It doesn't mean listening to your brother's or sister's ego definition of himself or herself or the behavior that follows. Listening to truth is the only way you can hear it now and finally know it. Here it is, a little piece of gristle. The message your brother gives you is up to you. What does he say to you? And here's the real question. What would you have him say? Well, you would have him say selfish things, because you know the bastard. You would have him be dishonest, because you know him too well. Do you not think that the voice for truth, that the Holy Spirit, that God, being all there, really is there where your brother is, cannot possibly find a way for your brother to say exactly what you need to hear? Not what your brother thinks you need to hear, not even what your brother might think he's saying. But do you not think that the Holy Spirit or God can have your brother say exactly what you need to hear for your benefit, for your enlightenment, for your growth, and as a demonstration of the fact that there's something more there to your brother than the definition you're so sure of? The definition of him or her that you're so sure is the truth. Continuing, your decision about him determines the message you receive. Remember, see, here's the second part of it. The first part of it was that the Holy Spirit is nothing more than your right mind. Remember that the Holy Spirit is in him or her, and the Holy Spirit's voice, speaks to you through him. Oh, but you're not going to listen in a way that would allow that to register with you, because you know there is no good in him. He's demonstrated it over and over. She's demonstrated it over and over. They're nothing but willful individualities with self-interest as the bottom line. You say, you're asking me to remember that the Holy Spirit is in him or her, and his voice speaks to me through them? You're asking me to believe that? More than that, you're actually asking me to do it? Hey, if you want to wake up, then your divinity and your conscious experience of your divinity cannot be an exclusive gift from the Father to you and you alone. What can so holy a brother tell you except truth? You see, but you say, yeah, but it's not a holy brother. He's not a holy brother. What can so holy a brother tell you except truth? But are you listening to it? Hell no. You're positive it isn't there. And you're not going to make yourself vulnerable by being undefended enough to see if it's there. Because while you're undefended, the bitch or bastard is going to nail you. And you're going to be unprepared. So, are you listening to it? No. Now listen, your brother may not know who he is, but there is a light in his mind which does know. Your brother may not know who he is, and therefore his behavior may be bad behavior. His behavior will be misguided if he's not awake yet. But that's not justification for abandoning him. And if it sinks in with you that you can't wake up until you're willing to look at your brother or your sister with the intent to see singularity there, just as you have finally become convinced it's appropriate for you to do with yourself, what you've learned means nothing. If you're not willing to do that, you haven't learned anything, and you haven't brought all of the elements into play that will constitute a miracle, a sudden shift of perception. The sudden shift of perception that you are willing to consider might happen to you isn't something that will happen only to you. It will happen to you and cause you to see everything else differently and require of you that you extend the gift you have received to embrace everything else with the same acknowledgement. And if that doesn't happen, the process is incomplete. Your brother may not know who he is, but it makes no never mind. Your brother may not know who he is, but there is a light in his mind which does know. There is a place of excellence in him. And if you don't see the place of excellence in him, you haven't seen it or experienced it in yourself. If you have experienced it in yourself, you will have immediately recognized that everyone does. This light in his mind can shine into yours, making his words true and making you able to hear them. What does that mean? It means that when you are willing to listen, minus your judgments, you will be able to hear what your brother is meaning, no matter what he is saying. Every time any one of you cries out in pain or complaint why do you do it? If it's normal, you wouldn't complain. You would just let it be. But you complain because somewhere in you, you know it's illegitimate. Somewhere in you, you know you don't deserve it. Somewhere in you, you know that there's another way for you to be experiencing, existing. And that's the truth. And so the complaint that you register with your voice and your words, that generally comes out in an obtuse way and is generally directed at others in complaint about their behavior, has truth at the bottom line. The truth that you know that the suffering you're experiencing is an illegitimate imposition upon you, and it's not your birthright, and there is another way for you to be experiencing, existing. That's the truth that can be heard, no matter what the obtuse exclamations of complaint are. And so the question is, just as with the poinsettias, are you going to be willing to be with whatever it is that's really there and abandon your current perceptions and definitions of what it is, so that you might get to the bottom line of the presence of God that is there, so that it can replace your definitions, your misperceptions of it, and all of the attending mistakes that result from the misperception. Now, you say, wow, that could really, I could really get into that. I mean, I love poinsettias, or I love orchids, or I love this, or I love that. I'll be glad to become defenseless with it and find out what there is behind the definitions I'm currently employing about it. But when it's a brother or a sister who's registering a complaint in an obtuse way, you say, uh-oh. This is too uncomfortable. I'm unwilling. I'm unwilling to be present with them. Let them be present in my mind with my having an attitude of willingness to be there, to listen beneath the behavior. The light in your brother can shine into yours, your mind, making his words true and making you able to hear them. His words are the Holy Spirit's answer to you. Is your faith in him strong enough to let you hear? Or are you a self-satisfied, arrogant wimp? Sounds a little inconsistent, right? An arrogant wimp? A banty rooster? A little thing who's going to be aggressive and seem to be as big as you can be, as ferocious as you can be? It's still not a lot of presence, you might say. Is your faith in your brother strong enough to let you hear? Is your faith, do you have the strength to stand there in the presence of what your conditioning tells you is an obtuse and ugly and bad behavior that's not worthy of your energy or attention? Are you going to have the guts to be present there and look behind the presentation, to find the kernel of truth that is at the root of the awkward and inarticulate expression of dignity that is felt but not understood by that one. It's felt enough that each one of you yells out in complaint against suffering, even though you don't realize fully that you don't deserve to be experiencing any of it. And it isn't the world, it isn't circumstances, it isn't the behavior of others that's causing you to suffer. It's the fact that you don't remember what you are. And in your ignorance, you believe what you think you are. And so you don't know your right to deliverance from the suffering because of what you are. Just because of what you are. So is your faith in Him strong enough to let you hear? Salvation is of your brother. Why? Because it's the second half of the process of waking up. The recognition and experience of the truth of what you are is not enough to wake you up. It must be extended to your brothers and sisters. Inclusion must occur. The complete breaking of isolation must happen in order for you to have what you are giving. In order for the truth about you to be fully embodied, manifested. That's the only way it works. Why? Because that's the return to your function. How can you be awake in the glory of God, in the fullness of being, if you are not fulfilling your function? And your function is the recognition of what is real in each and everything. The recognition of God in each and everything. The acknowledgement of it. That's the glorifying of God. That's the fulfilling of creation. So salvation is of your brother. And I could say to the poinsettia, your salvation is of your brother or your sister. You can't be fully divine all by yourself. You see, not even the poinsettia can be. Salvation is of your brother. The Holy Spirit extends from your mind to His and answers you. What are the messengers that the Holy Spirit, you in your right mind, send out? They are the ones that will return and confirm to you their purpose for being sent out. The Holy Spirit extends from your mind to His and answers you, apparently back from His. You cannot hear the voice for God in yourself alone because you are not alone. And His answer is only for what you are. Not who you are, what you are. You will not know the trust I have in you unless you extend it. Now you are aware that I have great trust in you. I have an unwavering trust in you because I know who you are. I know what you are. And I know you can't ever be anything different from it, even if you imagine that you can be. You will not know the trust I have in you unless you extend it. You will not trust the guidance of the Holy Spirit or believe that it is for you unless you hear it in others. It must be for your brother because it is for you. You see, there's the singularity. There's just nothing private. There are no private thoughts, and there are no private blessings, and there are no private realizations, and there are no private insights. If you have an aha experience, and you see the truth more clearly, and it has changed you forever, to one degree or another, every single thing that exists has been changed forever, has been blessed by the realization. Would God have created a voice for you alone? Well, it's nice to think that maybe He would, isn't it? And hey, what if you're the only one that's hearing it? No one else has yet. It's very easy to believe that now you are in the position of being the one who's hearing the voice for God, and you can be the messenger of God to the world with this wonderful special position, you see. And indeed, you may find yourself giving voice to the voice for truth, and others might be benefiting. But when they begin to hear themselves as a result of the trust you have in them, because you have let the trust I've had in you be extended, you may find yourself becoming jealous because they heard without as much process as you did. They got it easier than you did. They heard right away when it took you 3 weeks. And now maybe somebody else will listen to them instead of you, you see. Oh boy. Would God have created a capital V voice for you alone? Could you hear His answer except as He answers all of God's sons? Hear of your brother what you would have me hear of you, for you would not want me to be deceived. Another way of saying that is, listen to your brothers in the way that you would want me to listen to you. And I'm sorry to say that the way you would want me to listen to you is a lot more benevolent than the way you are willing to listen to your brother. And you need to notice that so that you can abandon the lack of benevolence, the lack of trust that there is a place of excellence in your brother, the lack of trust that there is a light in him. And when you break that habit of perception and your behavior ceases to embody your lack of trust in your brother, you will begin to hear your brother differently. And I don't just mean that you will begin to hear you'll begin to hear the truth of what they're saying underlying their awkward expression of suffering. you will actually begin to hear them expressing realizations that they're having that you can identify with. And you will begin to feel more at one with your brother and sister. And your ability to abandon your pre-existing definitions of them will be enhanced. I love you for the truth in you, as God does. Your deceptions may deceive you, but they cannot deceive me. Well, are you willing to look at your brothers and sisters and acknowledge within yourself that their deceptions may deceive them, but they cannot deceive you? That's what you need to do. Knowing what you are, I cannot doubt you. I hear only the Holy Spirit in you, who speaks to me through you. If you would hear me, hear my brothers, in whom God's voice speaks. You know what we're talking about? We're talking about healing. We are talking about transformation, and we're talking about the fact that you're going to be involved in it, and you won't be excused from this particular lab or lab work. You go into a special care facility and you see children who are mentally impaired, who do not have the faculty of speech or communication, and they moan and they make sounds that are unintelligible. And the nature of the sounds that you hear are disturbing to you and saddening to you and depressing to you. Why? Because you're only listening with your ears, so to speak. You're only listening with your current definitions and understandings of things. But there is a truth asserting itself and finding its way into expression awkwardly and inarticulately. And it's a call for love. Well, what's love? Love is you listening for the Holy Spirit in your brother, in that child, who can't communicate at all, well or, shall I say, kindly or unkindly. It can't communicate in anything other than a moan or a wail or an inarticulate sound. But you can listen for the Holy Spirit in that one. You can listen for the Christ in that one. To see what the Christ is saying, what the truth is that's being expressed. You see, you send out a messenger. I wish to hear the Christ in this one. The eternal, unchangeable presence of God that cannot be inarticulate in any way. And you listen for that, not being deceived by your